The history of people, the future of Europe, new census, current challenges, Muslims in the European community. Establishment of the European Muslim Forum, EMF. On October 8, 2018, the leaders of the Muslim communities from 12 European countries met in Barcelona to establish a new large-scale project, the European Muslim Forum, EMF. Later in Rome, the declaration of the European Muslim Forum was adopted. The forum became an important institution and a pan-European platform to form a positive vector of development of the Muslim community on the European continent. In February 2019, representatives of 25 countries of Greater Europe took part in the fourth meeting of the board of the European Muslim Forum in Denmark. The Copenhagen Manifesto was adopted at the meeting. History. The importance of creating the EMF is confirmed by historical trends. For centuries, Islam and Muslims have been an integral part of European history. Today, about 170 million Muslims live in the vast expanses from the Atlantic to the Urals. Most of them are indigenous people of the continent, as well as migrants of different generations who want to see Europe as their new home. Statistics. Demographic realities and migration flows have transformed the ethnographic group of Europe. Today, France is home to 6 million Muslims. About 5 million Muslims live in Germany, 4 million in the UK, 1.5 million in Spain, and 1 million in Italy. According to forecasts, the number of Muslims in Europe will increase threefold in the next 30 years and can make up 1/5 part of the total population of the continent. Concept and objectives. The aim of the EMF is to contribute to the achievement of objectives of the European community. Without Muslims today, it is impossible to imagine the development of interreligious dialogue and cooperation of religions. The EMF can become a platform to unite the efforts of all Abrahamic denominations in order to confront the challenges of the modern world. Muslims should actively oppose the ideas of extremism, xenophobia, including Islamophobia, which is an urgent problem of modern Europe. With our active participation, Europe can become a true multicultural society. The Muslim community could play a significant role in the development of the European economy. Based on the ideals of our religion, we should make a worthy contribution to the preservation of the environment. Muslims could also contribute to the promotion of healthy lifestyles. We are confident that the Muslims of Europe should actively implement themselves in politics and public spheres, as well as in social projects. Important tasks. The EMF plans to develop new models for integration of Muslim migrants into the European community. Muslims can provide indispensable assistance in adaptation of refugees from Asia and Africa. The European Muslim Forum plans to cooperate with government agencies and business circles of European countries. The Muslim community in Europe could play an important role in attracting investments from rich Muslim countries and establishing new sales markets. The EMF aims to support the construction of mosques and Islamic cultural centers, as well as hold festivals and days of culture of Muslim countries. The forum aims to promote educational projects for the Muslim youth, develop Islamic media space, and create platforms for public discussions. The annual convention of European Muslims is planned to be held under the auspices of this forum. Upcoming development prospects. The European Muslim Forum is intended to become a bridge between the Muslim world and international European structures. In the near future, the EMF plans to open representative offices in 5 major political and economic centers of Europe, including Brussels, London, Barcelona, Moscow, Istanbul. Prospection. Today, we invite representatives of the Muslim communities of the countries of Greater Europe to cooperate at the European Muslim Forum, including spiritual leaders, politicians, journalists, businessmen, organizers of social projects, and many others, so that together we can consolidate a new constructive image of a European Muslim, the one who sincerely works for the future of Europe, for our future.
Ассаламу алейкум ва рахматуллахи ва баракату. Дорогие наши гости, братья и сестры, от имени
Praise be to Allah and the Lord of the world. Dear brothers and sisters, we'd like to welcome you in the name of European Muslims Forum today. We have with us participants from 36 European countries. We're also going to hear participants from other continents. General Assembly is going to be interpreted to 4 languages today: Turkish, Arabic, Russian, and English. The key language is English, so we'd like everyone that participating through Zoom to choose your language, interpreting language, to hear all the proceedings and take part. Everything is working on all the languages. We have colleagues with us, and today we have our first General Assembly in an online mode. The next assembly will be held in Brussels in a year's time, inshallah, and we're beginning with the second Ramadan, with the beginning of the holy months of Ramadan, that I'd like to congratulate you with, and I hope that our work today is going to be successful, as our traditions suggest. We begin our General Assembly today with reading the ayats of the Holy Quran that will be read from South Africa today by the famous Quran reader from Houston, United States, Sheikh Fatih Seferajic, who is now at the moment in South Africa.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله فاطر السماوات والأرض جاعل الملائكة رسلا أولي أجنحة مثنى وثلاث ورباع يزيد في الخلق ما يشاء إن الله على كل شيء قدير ما يفتح الله للناس من رحمة فلا ممسك لها وما يمسك فلا مرسل له من بعده وهو العزيز الحكيم يا أيها الناس اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم هل من خالق غير الله يرزقكم من السماء والأرض لا إله إلا هو فأنى تؤفكون وإن يكذبوك فقد كذبت رسل من قبلك وإلى الله ترجع الأمور يا أيها الناس إن وعد الله حق فلا تغرنكم الحياة الدنيا ولا يغرنكم بالله الغرور إن الشيطان لكم عدو فاتخذوه عدوا إنما يدعو حزبه ليكونوا من أصحاب السعير الذين كفروا لهم عذاب شديد والذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير أفمن زين له سوء عمله فرآه حسنا فإن الله يضل من يشاء ويهدي من يشاء فلا تذهب نفسك عليهم حسرات إن الله عليم بما يصنعون والله الذي أرسل الرياح فتثير سحابا فسقناه إلى بلد ميت فأحيينا به الأرض بعد موتها كذلك النشور من كان يريد العزة فلله العزة جميعا إليه يصعد الكلم الطيب والعمل الصالح يرفعه والذين يمكرون السيئات لهم عذاب شديد ومكر أولئك هو يبور والله خلقكم من تراب ثم من نطفة ثم جعلكم أزواجا وما تحمل من أنثى ولا تضع إلا بعلمه وما يعمر من مؤمر ولا ينقص من عمره إلا في كتاب إن ذلك على الله يسير وما يستوي البحران هذا عذب فرات سائغ شرابه وهذا ملح أجاج ومن كل تأكلون لحما طريا وتستخرجون حلية تلبسونها وترى الفلك فيه مواخر لتبتغوا من فضله ولعلكم تشكرون يولج الليل في النهار ويولج النهار في الليل وسخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري لأجل مسمى ذلكم الله ربكم له الملك والذين تدعون من دونه ما يملكون من قطمير إن تدعوهم لا يسمعوا دعاءكم ولو سمعوا ما استجابوا لكم ويوم القيامة يكفرون بشرككم ولا ينبئك مثل خبير يا أيها الناس أنتم الفقراء إلى الله يا أيها الناس أنتم الفقراء إلى الله والله هو الغني الحميد إن يشأ يذهبكم ويأتي بخلق جديد وما ذلك على الله بعزيز ولا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى وإن تدع مثقلة إلى حملها لا يحمل منه شيء ولو كان ذا قربى إنما تنذر الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب وأقاموا الصلاة ومن تزكى فإنما يتزكى لنفسه وإلى الله المصير وما يستوي الأعمى والبصير ولا الظلمات ولا النور ولا الظل ولا الحرور وما يستوي الأحياء ولا الأموات إن الله يسمع من يشاء وما أنت بمسمع من في القبور إن أنت إلا نذير إنا أرسلناك بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وإن من أمة إلا خلا فيها نذير وإن يكذبوك فقد كذب الذين من قبلهم جاءتهم رسلهم بالبينات وبالزبر وبالكتاب المنير ثم أخذت الذين كفروا فكيف كان نكير ألم تر أن الله أنزل من السماء ماء فأخرجنا به ثمرات مختلفا ألوانها ومن الجبال جدد بيض وحمر مختلف ألوانها وغرابيب سود ومن الناس والدواب والأنعام مختلف ألوانه كذلك إنما يخشى الله من عباده العلماء إنما يخشى الله من عباده العلماء إن الله عزيز غفور إن الذين يتلون كتاب الله وأقاموا الصلاة وأنفقوا مما رزقناهم سرا وعلانية يرجون تجارة لن تبور صدق الله العظيم.
صدق الله العظيم. Спасибо, уважаемый шейх Фатих. Примите наши поздравления тоже со священным Рамаданом и передавайте привет всем нашим.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Fatih, and our congratulations with the sacred month of Ramadan. We have two studios. We have studios in Istanbul and Moscow, and also we have the communication with the 36 European countries. And we give the floor now to our brother from Malaysia, Dato Sri Anwar bin Ibrahim. He is the moderator of our honorary board, and he's the head of the party Radio Katalin Rakayat.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, we are gathered here today in the blessed month of Ramadan. Ramadan Kareem, kullu am wa antum bi khair. It is a privilege and honor to have this opportunity to speak with you as you begin the General Assembly of the European Muslim Forum. I commend the leadership of EMF for continuing the important work of bringing our communities together, even during the pandemic. And I look forward to a time, inshallah, very soon, when we can meet once again in person. Dear brothers and sisters, it is no secret that the tides of Islamophobia in Europe are rising. Islamophobic stereotypes and prejudices are migrating from the fringes into the mainstream of society, so that it is now generally acceptable to denigrate the
звуком?
religious
Звука нет.
practices and symbols of Muslims. Something which is beautiful and
sound.
noble has, in the eyes of many Europeans, become reprehensible. The otherization and vilification has become the dominant and defining experience for Muslims in Europe, particularly for those who have migrated to European shores. This phenomenon is not limited to culture, nor to the ignorance of a few groups in Western societies who cling to retrograde notions of
There is no
racial
sound.
superiority. We now see the liberal secular state taking an active role in institutionalizing racism and prejudice. How else can we account for the anti-Sharia legislation being passed across states in the United States? The Muslim ban under former President Trump, and now the blatant and deliberate persecution of Muslim women. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, we are gathered here today in the blessed month of Ramadan. Ramadan Kareem, kullu am wa antum bi khair. It is a privilege and honor to have this opportunity to speak with you as we begin the General Assembly of the European Muslim Forum. I commend the leadership of EMF for continuing the important work of bringing our communities together, even during the pandemic. And I look forward to a time, inshallah, very soon, when we can meet once again in person. Dear brothers and sisters, it is no secret that the tides of Islamophobia in Europe are rising. Islamophobic stereotypes and prejudices are migrating from the fringes into the mainstream of society, so that it is now generally acceptable to denigrate the religious practices and symbols of Muslims. Something which is beautiful and noble has, in the eyes of many Europeans, become reprehensible. The otherization and vilification has become the dominant and defining experience for Muslims in Europe, particularly for those who have migrated to European shores. This phenomenon is not limited to culture, nor to the ignorance of a few groups in Western societies who cling to retrograde notions of racial superiority. We now see the liberal secular state taking an active role in institutionalizing racism and prejudice. How else can we account for the anti-Sharia legislation being passed across states in the United States? The Muslim ban under former President Trump, and now the blatant and deliberate persecution of Muslim women in France for their personal choices to wear hijab. We may hear about violence against the Muslim person, property, and community spaces in the news. But the extent of the challenges Muslims in Europe are now facing is much deeper. The discrimination that they encounter is manifested in the form of unequal access to housing,
Проблема со звуком.
healthcare, education, and employment. The criminal justice system has been shown to treat Muslims by different standards than it treats non-Muslims. This would certainly create a multi-generational challenge of inequality, dispossession, and desperation. At a time when the world is facing existential challenges in the forms of climate change, mass migration, food insecurity, as well as recurring pandemics, the overt and covert forms of racism and inequality can easily become flashpoints for social and civil unrest. There are many initiatives now addressing each aspect of this great challenge for European Muslims. And these initiatives are enormously important to slow down.
Please
if not
mute all
halt
your
these
microphones,
times.
please.
However, I make one observation about these initiatives. They are driven by what I might call the deficit model. That is to say, they are based on the idea that Muslims are suffering and the societies in which they reside must do what they can to reduce this suffering. I would like to suggest we consider a parallel model, what I might call a contribution model. That is to say that rather than focusing mostly on the prejudice,
Please mute your
discrimination,
microphone.
and
We are not
suffering,
able to hear.
we focus our efforts equally on the contributions that Muslims can make to Europe. I think Muslims have and can continue to make many contributions to European life and civilization. Allow me to mention just a few approaches to consider in that respect. Muslims in Europe are a youthful section of their societies. While European societies are on the whole aging, Muslims in those societies, generally speaking, have a much younger population. This means that the Muslim population will be growing. They will be a much bigger part of the workforce and a greater bulk of the service providers in these countries. They will be making a much bigger contribution to the taxes in these countries and will be a more important part of the political and economic spines of these countries. One focus of this contribution approach could be how we harness this economic contribution of Muslims to European societies and translate that contribution into greater representation and influence in social, economic, and political arenas. Two, Muslims are a very diverse population in Europe. We have a large North African Muslim community in France, a large Turkish Muslim community in Germany, a large Pakistani,
Could you please
Bangladeshi
mute your
community
microphone,
in the UK,
please?
but also Muslim communities in Europe originating from all over the world. The soft skills that these Muslim communities bring to Europe in terms of language, international connection, and intimate knowledge of societies and cultures across the world means that contributions to Europe could be limitless in terms of trade, international relationships, and diplomacy and peace building across the world. This can and should be harnessed. Three, we believe that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ came to perfect religion. As Ustaz Khurram Murad from the Islamic Foundation in the UK used to say, Muslims in Europe are there for a purpose, and that is to bring the values of Islam to these lands. What we can give to Europe is the values of compassion, mercy, conflict resolution, and community society building. We can emphasize the Maqasid al-Sharia approach of protecting and promoting life and dignity, intellect and enlightenment, ethics and spirituality, family and family ties, and wealth and well-being. There is a great wealth in our religion of Islam and Muslim heritage. Let us present this to European countries in the beauty it deserves, so that it can contribute to better societies in Europe. Brothers and sisters, there is tremendous work to be done to protect and preserve the lives of Muslims who are facing discrimination and persecution. We cannot divert our attention from the efforts required to give them what is necessary to live in peace. We must at the same time double our efforts at this time of great change and tribulations in the world to support and empower Muslim communities to find avenues to contribute to their new home societies. It is only through this dual approach that we will be able to address the challenges of the widespread and deep Islamophobia in Europe for the long term. Certainly, this is no easy task, but it is one which is essential to reverse the tides of negative sentiment. My brothers and sisters who are leading the Muslim communities in Europe, I know that many of you are very concerned about the plight of Muslims around the world. We all know that across the Ummah, Muslims are struggling to overcome poverty, illiteracy, war, and oppression. Many governments in Muslim countries fail to represent the will of their people. Most countries are burdened with poor governance and afflicted by the cancer of corruption and the abuse of power. Some of the principles which I have dedicated my life towards, namely the pursuit of transparency, good governance, and democratic accountability, are being called into question. It is indeed troubling to see the rising popularity of authoritarianism in democratic societies, a trend which is harmful to democracy and would strengthen the resolve of tyrants and dictators around the world to increase their oppressive designs. I believe that in addition to the humanitarianism which Muslims exhibit, European Muslims must continue your engagement with the global Ummah to raise awareness and, when possible, demand greater commitment to good governance, which, in my view, is the only way to achieve fairness and justice in today's societies. Lastly, I would like to mention that as you continue the work to enhance the organizational strength of the EMF, that you are mindful of some important objectives. We must look to include and empower the voices of young leaders and women leaders in our communities. We must continue to invite diverse voices to share their views and shape the agenda for the future. We must model the type of leadership and management within ourselves that we wish to see in our communities. I congratulate you and your participation in the General Assembly. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you benefit from the speakers and are able to implement these important lessons in your communities. I also pray that you have a blessed Ramadan and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept all of our prayers, fasting, and good deeds. May He, in His divine wisdom, give us the openings we need in our lives to achieve peace and justice in our families, communities, and throughout the world. Thank you, and wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Просьба к техническим службам. У нас
We have a request to the technical services because we had the problems with the translation of our brother Anwar Ibrahim. We hear only Turkish translation. Please, the technical services, provide the necessary support. And now we give the floor to the moderator of the Knowledge Board of the European Muslim Forum, Chairman of the Religious Board of the Russian Muslims of the Russian Federation. Please, Mufti Sheikh Ravil.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Дорогие братья и сестры, от лица Духовного управления мусульман Российской Федерации, многомиллионной мусульманской уммы России и себя лично приветствую вас словами муссульманского братского приветствия «Ассаляму алейкум ва рахматуллахи ва баракатух». Мир вам, милость Всевышнего Аллаха и Его благословение. Сердечно поздравляю всех вас с наступлением благословенного священного месяца Рамадан, месяца великого мусульманского поста, месяца молитвы, очищения и сближения сердец. Высоко ценю роль и участие членов Европейского мусульманского форума в важных общественных процессах поиска гармонии и добрососедства
and good neighborly relations between all types of faiths, between all the faiths and interreligious multi-ethnic dialogue worldwide and in Russia, protecting the interests of the followers of Islam. You're doing a lot for integrating Islam into the receiving host communities and also for supporting interreligious dialogue and multi-ethnic, multi-confessional accord and agreement. On this vector, we are seeing the strengthening of the faithful in Europe, the unification of Islamic ideologists and theologists, scholars, those who would like to see the Ummah educated, illiterate, illuminated, aiming for the future, looking for dialogue, looking for harmony, and supporting those who need support most are the good deeds prescribed by our holy religion, Islam. As the Holy Book states, enter the world together, jointly, united. I would like to humbly wish this congregation fruitful work today, all of its members and participants, the fortunate, blessed, holy months of Ramadan, good deeds that will bring us closer to the Almighty Creator and will give good and use to all around us. My sincere congratulations with the coming blessed holy Ramadan. Thank you very much, dear Sheikh Ravil Ghanuddin. And now we would like to give the floor to Sir Iqbal Sakrani, OBE from London. I would like to once again ask the technical services to please note the interpreting and sound. Make sure it is organized. This is the English translation channel. We hope you can hear us.
Thank you, Brother Abdul Wahid, Jazakumullah khairun, for giving me the opportunity to say a few words. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. May I at the very outset also convey Ramadan Kareem to all our brothers and sisters from the European Muslim Forum. We have heard speeches from our two distinguished members of the European Muslim Forum, our patrons, Brother Anwar Ibrahim and Sheikh Gainuddin. Brother Anwar Ibrahim, unfortunately, the technical system was such that we could not hear his full speech, but we managed to get the gist of his speech, and primarily he concentrated on three key issues. The most important matter he referred to, the concerns of the European Muslims, is the rise of Islamophobia, discrimination, and prejudice that is taking place in Europe. He reminded us that it is our duty as Muslims leadership in Europe to ensure we tackle this very serious problem in a very positive and a dignified manner. Of course, Islam is the mainstream faith religion of Europe, and we should make sure that we are not treated on the fringe. He reminded us the responsibility that we have as Muslims according to the teachings of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and of course, according to the directives given to us in the Holy Quran. He also reminded us the saying of a famous scholar, Sheikh Murad in UK, where he reminded us that there is a purpose of us being in Europe. There's a purpose for Muslims to be in Europe. And therefore, the purpose is to ensure that our deen of Islam comes out in a very positive manner as it is across the communities. He also referred to the fact that the values of Islam are actually misunderstood in certain parts of Europe. And we see some actions being taken in some European countries, which are not only un-Islamic, but they goes against the basic human rights of an individual. And therefore, the concept of human rights is very, very important to emphasize. Example, what's happening in Switzerland, what's happening in France. These are decisions, directives, which contravene their own national laws and the recognition given by the international community under the United Nations Conventions of Human Rights. Then, of course, we heard from our Mufti, Gainuddin, our very respectable and a highly distinguished scholar. He again emphasized and reminded us on the verses of the Holy Quran, which directed us in terms of how we should live as good Muslims in the UK and Europe. He emphasized the importance of close collaboration between the different communities in Europe. We are Ummah, we are as a group, and he reminded us that there should be greater collaboration, and any sufferings and problems faced by our communities in one part of the country should affect us, and we should be there to support them. And they both, Anwar Ibrahim and Mufti Gainuddin, emphasized the importance of the European Muslim Forum, which brings together different leadership, very distinguished persons carrying out remarkable work in their countries, and there is need for greater collaboration and cooperation. So Alhamdulillah, this is a very brief summary, Brother Abdul Wahid, of our two distinguished scholars. And whilst I'm here with you, may I also take the opportunity to welcome all of you to our first General Assembly of the European Muslim Forum. It has taken us a few years to reach this stage. Alhamdulillah, with the efforts of the President Abdul Wahid Niazov, the board of EMF, and the council of EMF, the executive committee of EMF, they've all worked together to reach today's stage, where inshallah on the agenda, we have got our statute, our constitution, which will be given to us for consideration, for an overview. So we will expect to receive more input from all our council members here to please study it. It's an important document. We are not seeking approval today, but we are seeking your views so that when the board is able to meet later, we can look at the structure, we can look at the objectives, alhamdulillah, which are very clearly outlined, and then carry out the registration, which we need to do. So with those few words, I'll pass back to our moderator, and very much hope and pray that we can continue with our deliberations in the holy month of Ramadan. And of course, we should not forget the suffering Muslim communities, whether it's in Uyghur community in China, whether it's our Palestinians, whether it's our brothers in Kashmir, or whether it's our brothers in Yemen, brothers and sisters in Yemen, in Syria, all those communities that are going through a very difficult phase. In the month of Ramadan, we can pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to ease their difficulties and strengthen our unity, which is so important that we can deal with it in a positive way. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, dear Sir Iqbal Sakrani. I hope that everyone will understand and excuse the technical difficulties. Unfortunately, we have 30. This is a complex event with 36 countries for Studio Istanbul, Moscow, and interpreting in 4 languages. I have been told that now interpreting is working faultlessly, and now we are moving on to the first item on our agenda related to registration and constitution that we have to adopt in the name of General Assembly, EMF, to move on to registering our organization in Brussels, the European capital. I'd like to give the floor to introduce this work to the member of our board, Mufti of Lithuania, our brother, Romas Likibauskas from Vilnius. You have the floor.
First of all, I want to convey my congratulations for everyone in start of the holy month of Ramadan. I wish everyone easy fasting, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of our good deeds, all our beginnings, and of course our fasting and our prayers in this holy month. So I will be talking about shortly about our amendments or actually the statute and regulations of the European Muslim Forum that we started to do some time ago, which is actually is very important point in the beginning of our work. So I want to inform everyone that European Muslim Forum is already registered in just to have a legal status. It's already registered in London, in UK, and we have as well registration in Copenhagen, in Denmark. Those are the registrations, basic registrations to be legal as an entity. But we have a plan or idea to establish our base in European capital, which is in Brussels. I have a base office there, and as well the full registration, official full registration in Brussels, inshallah. So I already some time ago I started to look into these matters, and then we all board members agreed that we should continue that. So the work is the work that it was done till now is our legal department or legal department of European Muslim Forum prepared a base version of the statute of European Muslim Forum according to Belgium law. More extensively about that, we'll tell our brother who is the chairman of the legal department and the member of the council of the European Muslim Forum, and he's representing president of the Muslim community of Prague. So I would like to ask him to tell more about the statue and the work that he's been doing with his staff to prepare our statute of European Muslim Forum. Then I would like, after Emir, brother Emir, there is our brother Aslan Mazukhabzov, the member of the Council of the European Muslim Forum and director of NGO Mountain Breeze from Nalchik, from Russia. He will explain and tell us more about the honorary board of European Muslim Forum. And later on, I will ask our dear brother Sheikh Hussam Ali Bardwil from Moscow in Russia. He's the secretary of the Knowledge Board of the European Muslim Forum, advisor Imam Khatib, member of the Council of Muslim Scholars by the Religious Board of Muslims of the Russian Federation, and chairman of the Union of Islamic Organization. And he will be telling us more about the spiritual board of the European Muslim Forum. So right now I would like to ask our brother Emir Kushnarenko to tell more about the work they've done with the statute, preparing the statute of the EMF according to the Belgian law.
Ассаламу алейкум ва рахматуллахи баракату всем участникам дискуссии.
May Allah be blessed, and greetings to all the members of this discussion. I'd like to thank you for the floor and opportunity to speak at this General Assembly. First of all, I would like to wish and congratulate all the Muslim brothers with the dawn, with the coming of the blessed holy month of Ramadan. And now, with Allah's help, I will say a few words about our work on preparing the draft statutes of EMF. As my colleague has mentioned, the organization has been registered in a number of countries. However, today, looking through the glass of globalizing our Muslim movement, we feel that it is necessary today that EMF should be headquartered in the capital of the European Union, Brussels. Our legal department has prepared and worked on the statutes of an NCO called European Muslim Forum. Accordingly, this is reporting. This is not a final draft. This is only a draft concept that needs to be further worked regarding responsibilities, division of responsibilities, internal departments, the bodies, supervising bodies of our organization. And in brief, I think that all the participants would have the opportunity to see and learn the statutes in English. Look at the draft in English. We are going to go over the plan, what they consist. So first of all, this is 3 key points: status, legal status, address of EMF. As I said, this organization is going to be headquartered in Brussels, inshallah, due to globalization of our job. And second, we will go into more detail about our future vision and goals, and the way we plan to implement and realize consolidation of Muslims in Europe in a wider context, in a wider sense of the word. Then we have recorded the bodies of our organization, so the membership, those who are members, the resolution on the General Assembly of EMF. The General Assembly of EMF is the executive body, the main executive body of EMF that deals with the ground, with a fundamental task. And this is selecting the board, selecting the president, and also approving the actual documents that this organization will later work on, function on. So the number 5 is resolution on the board of EMF, and then the resolution on the president of EMF, also on the executive board regarding division of responsibilities, spirit of authority. This will be a council. This will be developed with the help of legal department and recorded. Also, the resolutions about EMF, about HR provisions, about hired staff, employees who are going to act as workers. This is also recorded in the statutes in paragraph 8. Then we have another 2 councils. This is the advisory council and the council of religious mentors. So the first are the politicians that will help us with the work and operations of EMF. This is speaking of the advisory council. They will help with the operations and support, and the religious council. The religious advisors will be imams and sheikhs that we had the honor of hearing just earlier, that are going to look at our activities, review them through the looking glass of Sharia and following Islamic traditions. Now, regarding the advisors of EMF, consultants, these are the people who act as consultants and also representatives of our organizations locally in the regions, in the countries of residence. Basically, in brief, this is everything, the key abodes of our statutes, and in the future, as I said, this is this is not a final version, this is a draft. We'll need to further work on it by our department and by the bodies of EMF, and following their final approval, we will need to take this document, pass it on to the Belgian registration authorities, so that the Brussels, the Euro, has registered this organization.
And we look to the fact that it corresponds to the Belgian law of 1921. So inshallah, I congratulate you with this beginning, and I ask all colleagues to get to know this draft document, to vote and to approve it, and to register it successfully in Belgium in the future. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, dear brother Emir, for this great job. And we hope that in the near future we are going to finish the finalization of this document, and we will pass to the registration.
For this job that he's done, and I believe it should be, this is, as he said, this is a base version, and we still everyone has a chance to read it and say his ideas and amendments for this document, and then we'll finalize it and give it for the registration, and first for translation to French language, and then for the registration. Now I would like to ask our dear brother Aslan Mazukavzov from Nalchik to tell us more about the honorary board in EMF.
Thank you very much, dear respected elders, dear Mr. President, dear board members, dear colleagues in EMF. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And congratulations to all of you on the beginning of the holy month of Ramadan. I'd like to briefly present to you the regulations on the honorary board of the EMF. I won't go through all of them, but I'll just mention the most important one and give you the idea of what it is. As you know, we already have this body functioning, and the moderator of this body is Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim. Some of us were not able, unfortunately, to hear his speech today, but I'm sure it will be shared later to all of us. It has very important points, as all our other interventions as well, and addresses. So, as you know, Anwar Ibrahim is a prominent Malaysian politician, has twice served as the leader of opposition, which, as you know, also is a very important position in the Malaysian federal politics. So, and as you have already seen from the first clauses of the regulations on the honorary board, this body of the European Muslim Forum, I'm sorry, is an advisory body which provides support to other divisions of the EMF in the form of making recommendations, providing advice on strategic development, probably identifying priority areas in the activities of the European Muslim Forum. And importantly, the members of the honorary board of the EMF can be individuals who have the necessary goodwill and moral character, as well as a social and political influence in the countries of their citizenship or origin. And of course, they must share the program goals of the EMF, have partnerships with our organization, and provide significant political, financial, or informational support to the European Muslim Forum. And one more time, as our previous speaker said, I would like to encourage all of us to review the statute one more time before voting, and go through it very seriously. And once again, I'm using this opportunity to wish all of us a blessed Ramadan, Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Kareem. Thank you very much, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, thank you very much, our dear brother Aslan. Right now, I would like to ask our brother from Moscow, Sheikh Hussam Ali Bardwil, to tell us a little bit more about the spiritual board of EMF. Sheikh Ali, تفضل.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Да, мои выступления будут на русском языке, иншаллах та'аля.
My speech will be in Russian, and I would like to join our brothers in greeting all of us with the sacred month of Ramadan. I believe that our General Assembly that got together in the second day of Ramadan, it is very important, and it gives special features to our meeting. And I believe that the next time we will meet already in real life, face to face, and we'll be able to see each other. And Allah will free us from this coronavirus. And I would like to give the appreciation to the management of the forum for their attention, for their will, for the good professional work and efficient work. Of course, when the organization has a Muslim spirit, it is very important to have Sharia and religious appreciation of this forum. That's why the brothers formed the spiritual board. Of course, this is not a control board, but this is a consultancy board, and this board can give the appreciation and evaluation from the point of view of Islam. Also, our board will be considering the issues that are important for the Muslims of the European continent. I believe that you've got already acquainted with the features of our resolution on the board. We prepared it, and also we prepared the list of the members of this religious board, and we are proud that we have very eminent persons for all Muslims in Europe, like Sheikh Ganuddin of Russia, Sheikh Konstantin of Belarus, and others. And we also strive to contact with different Muslim eminent leaders and researchers so that they could join us and make their contribution into our activities. We hope that our board will play an important role and will improve the work of our forum. Thank you very much. Thank you, dear Sheikh Wissam.
Major information about our work on the statute and the registration. I hope it will everyone will contribute with his ideas and amendments to this statute, and very soon it will be finalized, and then we will give for our brothers in our legal department to give it for the registration. Using this opportunity as well, dear brothers, as we talked last time in our meeting, we said that this General Assembly will be still online because the situation is still not that very good with the pandemic, and traveling is problematic. But the next our meeting, inshallah, will be 9th of June in Vilnius, and it's still there are still issues. It might be the date might be changed because of the pandemic, but we all hope that until that time the situation will improve, and we will be able to, at least some of us will be able to travel and visit Vilnius, inshallah, and we'll have a great meeting here in Lithuania. So we all ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to improve the situation with the pandemic, take this problem away, and hope to meet many of you, inshallah, in our beautiful country of Lithuania in Vilnius next time for the next meeting, inshallah. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'll give back the voice for our President, Brother Abdulwahid Niyazov. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Romas. Thank you, Vilnius. Thank you, Moscow. And we continue our work. And I want to point out that we've passed the first article of our agenda. All of you has the draft status. On Saturday, we are going to meet with the members of our board, and I propose that we approve in general the draft status, and we ask our legal specialists to prepare the status for the registration. Also, we are waiting for the proposals to form our honorary board and knowledge boards. And let me remind you that we plan to have our offline meeting 8 and 8 of June and in Lithuania, in Vilnius, with the participation of the President of Lithuania, and 10 and 11th and 12th of June in Belarus with the participation of the president of the Belarus. And we pass to the new point of our agenda, talking about the Muslim minorities. And we are going to listen to the president of the world. Of the president of the World Uyghur Council, and we are going to listen to him.
I would like to thank European Muslim Forum and Abdul Hayat Niyazo for inviting me to the General Assembly. I applaud this forum hard work on the campaign for the Muslim issue in the Europe particularly. I'm the Dolkun Isa, I'm the president of the World Uyghur Congress. World Uyghur Congress is always a representative organization of the Uyghur Muslim in the internationally based in Germany. We are happy being of the part and the attendance is European Muslim Forum. Uyghur Muslim, Uyghur is a Muslim people in East Turkestan, northwestern China. China official called Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. The current situation of Uyghur Muslim has worsened dramatically over the recent years. As a result of target campaign by the Chinese government, the Uyghur community has suffered incredibly. As the very existence has come under threat. Chinese government commits genocide against Uyghur, Kazakh, and the other Muslim. The last 4 years alone, Chinese government has arbitrarily detained millions of innocent Muslims in the concentration camps, the largest detentions since the Second World War. We estimate at least 3 million Uyghur, Kazakh, and the other Muslims are suffering in 21st century's concentration camp today by Chinese government. Mass sterilization and the forced abortion Uyghur Muslim women and the other forced birth prevention measure in order to diminish the Uyghur population. Forced labor and the modern slavery of the hundreds of thousands of Uyghurs attempt to destroy unique Uyghur identity and the forcibly assimilated the Uyghur people into Han-centric China. Destruction the physical representation of the Uyghur identity, including thousands of mosques, graveyards, and the other sites of the religious, cultural, and the historical importance to the Uyghur people. Ban Uyghur language in many schools and the public space. Separating Uyghur children from their parents to indoctrinate to them loyalty to the Chinese Communist Party and forsake their Uyghur identity. Around 500,000 to 1 million Uyghur Muslim children forced separate from the family since the 2017. Harassment and punishment to diaspora and anyone who dares speak out. Islam has been attacked with particularly ferocity. For long, even the most basic expression of our religious identity has been criminalized through various legislation targeting Islam. Chinese authorities have effectively criminalized growing long beard, wearing Islamic veil, opening a Quran, communicating with friends about religious online, or many other basic religious practice. In reality, it has been dangerous to practice Islam as the who to attend mosque or who show religious sentiment are arrested and sent for the religious detention in the camp. Uyghurs are prevented from the learning and the practicing Islam. Australian Strategic Policy Institute reports say 8,000 mosques completely demolished and another 8,000 mosques partly destroyed only between 2017 and 2020, within 3 years. Since yesterday, 1.5 billion Muslims starting fasting and celebrating Mubarak Ramadan. Unfortunately, Uyghur Muslim has no right to enjoy his Ramadan fasting and praying, forbidding Ramadan, and the Chinese government, particularly in the Ramadan time, forcibly to eat pork, forcibly to drink alcohol. Chinese official has described Islam as an ideological illness. It must be eradicated. This is the Chinese government official slogan. Since 2018, Chinese government start anti-halalism. So today, you cannot use and you cannot demand it halal food or something like that. Even today, Chinese government determine what you to eat, what you dress, what you speak. This all determined by the Chinese government. You know, around the world, there is a different of kind persecution and the religious persecution and some other human rights violation. But today, Chinese government really committed genocide against the Uyghurs, Muslim. Unfortunately, most of Muslim world is continuous silent on this genocide. Uyghur Muslim, your brother and sister have expected Muslim leader to speak up. Unfortunately, in October 2020 last year, 46 countries, including Muslim majority state, made a statement supporting Chinese genocidal policy against Uyghur Muslim in the United Nations General Assembly. Among them, at least 16 Muslim countries. How have we arrived at this point where the Muslim world supported genocide and the persecution of millions of Muslims? We want world to see our humanity and demand China stop its genocide of the Uyghur Muslims. We have right to live and exist, to enjoy a basic right, basic religious right, and to celebrate and culture and the ethnic identity. We demand all Muslim brother and sister and all the Islamic country, Muslim organization, including organization Islamic Conference, breaks its shameful silence over this genocide and help us in the hope of the most urgent crisis in the world today. I believe it is emergency, moral and legal obligation for all Muslim Ummah. Thank you very much for attention. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Спасибо, брат Долкун. Конечно же, для нас, для всех мусульман всего мира.
Thank you, Brother Bulkun. Yes, certainly, for us, same as all the world Muslims, the problems, the concerns that your multi-million, that your people, the Muslim peoples in Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, the Uyghur people is suffering, is very concerning. We are preparing in Denmark the European hearing, and we are hoping that in Dutch Parliament in Copenhagen this problem will see light. And now we'd like to give the floor to the member of the Council of EMF. He is now in Pakistan, not in London. This is Sheikh Ahmed Nazir. And before we give him the floor, in the name of all of our team, the team of EMF, we'd like to congratulate him with defending his honor and dignity in London High Court. We never doubted it will happen, and we're happy to see it happen.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Mr. President, brothers and sisters of the General Assembly, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and Ramadan Mubarak. Let me first of all thank our brother from the World Uyghur Congress for updating us with all the information in relation to the latest position of our brothers and sisters in China, Uyghur brothers and sisters. The European Muslim Council has been raising the concerns not only of Muslims in China, but the Muslims in Kashmir and in Palestine around the world. Whether it is our brothers and sisters who are suffering in the Far East or in Africa. So we've had a number of meetings in relation to Uyghur Muslims, and in particular, our brother in the World Uyghur Congress knows that we had a meeting with him, so we can update members of the Assembly and also Congress and all the different boards on the situation. May I, because I am in Pakistan, I met with some people here who work with China. And of course, I raised concerns of my Uyghur brothers and sisters, Muslims, and what's happening. And my latest lunch 2 days ago, or yesterday actually, was with an editor of a newspaper who has asked if a delegation of European Muslims Forum would like to visit and also to go for because I believe what our brother has just told us about demolition of 8,000 mosques. I've been involved for the last 3 or 4 years. When I wrote to the Chinese ambassador in London, I saw the videos and the photographs. Of course, they made all the excuses that there was no planning permission and they didn't have the permit to build these mosques. But we know this is a policy of the Chinese government. They do not allow, or they have started to demolish the mosques. And in the month of Ramadan, when we are all trying to fast with nice halal food, they are being fed with pork, they are being fed with alcohol, which is outrageous. It is unacceptable. And the international community must take action. I want to say thank you to American Congress or the Senate for approving a legislation to help those Uyghur Muslims in China who are suffering, and especially those who are facing genocide. There are a number of other countries who want to support our brothers and sisters in China. So together, all of us, let me assure you that the European Muslim Forum has been active. Our president has been passionate in relation to the rights of Uyghur Muslims. At every forum, we have raised this issue, and we will continue to raise the issue of Muslims who are suffering, whether they are in Burma, whether they are in Kashmir, whether they're in Palestine or Yemen. We will raise their issues, but in particular, the Chinese Muslims, I think, because their voice is not heard around the world. So therefore, I thank you, Chairman, President, and I thank all the board members for allowing me to say a few words in relation to Uyghur Muslims. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you very much, dear Lord Nadir. We know that you have recently met with Imran Khan and you informed him, the PM of Pakistan, and we are waiting from the Pakistan leader, our elder brother Imran Khan, to the European Muslims, eagerly anticipating. Also, we have received an invitation for our delegation to visit Pakistan during the month of Ramadan, and we are happy to report that next week, end of next week, we are ready to make this visit, and we will follow up on the details as procedure. Now we'll move on to the third item of our agenda. I should also point out, dear friends, that our experts had studied the situation with Muslims in Angola, and the plight of Muslims there. And the expert report is that today Angola doesn't have any discrimination of Muslims. Angolan Muslims are developing dynamically, and this community is the fastest, most dynamically growing community in Angola. This information has greatly gladdened us because we've heard information about certain incidents and discrimination. And now you've heard that the situation in Sri Lanka is improving with Muslim rights. We have Sir Iqbal Sakrani to thank for playing a huge role, and personally the leader of Pakistan, the deeply respected Honorable Imran Khan. Now, unfortunately, due to the military coup, the situation in Myanmar, in Burma, is not improving. The situation in Palestine is slightly improving owing to the change of focus in the US policy and its leadership on the Palestinian issue. We're going to touch upon this issue further in our Middle East section. And unfortunately, the Ummah is today mostly concerned with the long-suffering people of Kashmir and the Uyghur people. Now, moving on to the third item, Islamophobia at state level. To French Muslims, you are aware that in France we have from 6 to 7 million of our brothers and sisters. This is the second in numbers, population, religion in France. And Macron's cabinet has for a number of years now been conducting aggressive policies towards the Muslim rights and Muslims. And today we're going to hear from some very bright representatives of French Muslim community. First of all, we're going to hear an address in French. It's going to be run in French, but we're going to hear it translated into English. It is to the winner of Nobel Prize for Tolerance, Murad Al-Khattab. Mr. Murad, you have the floor. Добрый день, дамы и господа.
J'implore Allah Tout-Puissant pour qu'il accepte notre jeûne et comble de sa clémence et de sa miséricorde. Mes chers honorables membres du Conseil, permettez-moi de vous présenter la situation problématique en France aujourd'hui. Mais aussi la situation géopolitique que nous pouvons dégager une présidence musulmane et patriote pour restaurer la France. Globalement, la France est aujourd'hui gouvernée par des traîtres qui agissent contre les intérêts de la France. Ils détruisent la France économiquement et socialement. Un effet sous-estimé aujourd'hui et détourne l'ancienne voie de la France dans le monde. Le détournement est une vraie menace pour nos musulmans. Nous en avons déjà des effets géopolitiques. À présent, les effets se voient en France et vont s'aggraver. Ce détournement a réellement commencé en 1981, mais il prenait la suite d'une histoire qui le freine depuis 1789. Après la chute de l'URSS, la France s'est trouvée esselée. Un certain soutien à la Russie n'a pas empêché à la guerre du Golfe, de Yougoslavie et du Kosovo. Depuis 2007, avec le président Sarkozy, la France a été retournée diplomatiquement. Ses successeurs. Historiquement, la France est une puissance d'équilibre entre mer et terre, entre Est et Ouest.
This really began in 1981, but this way the outcome of a schizophrenic history of France since 1789.
Aujourd'hui, c'est l'inverse. Pourquoi est-ce un problème majeur?
And then the refuse of the Iraq War was a cause belly against the globalists. Today, France is a balancing power like an equilibrium counterweight. And this refers to Ukraine, Georgia, Moldova, Belarus, Nagorno-Karabakh, Baltic states. This is especially true also against the Muslim world. Libya, Chechnya, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Middle East, Pakistan with the support of the ultra-nationalist and the anti-Muslim India of Modi. France is systematically working against peace, and Macron even joins Joe Biden's naval provocations against China. Emergence of a new threat against Muslims in the world of France is because France was formerly the most pro-Islam country in the West. Since Charles de Gaulle's mother often talked about France's pro-Arab policy. This is the heritage of an old history of relations with Islam. And French ideology was the first to denounce jihadist terrorism officially promoted by the British in Arabia. But France was hijacked after Napoleon, subjected by globalism, economic liberalism from the 19th century. Colonialism was the consequence, wanted by the politicians who hijacked France. The patriots and army were often pro-Muslims and opposed these colonialist politicians and businessmen. And France decolonization caused a lot of lies and damage both to French and to Muslims. These lies are being recycled today to pit the French against the Muslims. Against this Arab, starting from President de Gaulle, France had strategic relations with the Muslim world. Against this Arab policy and the no said to the Iraq war, a new agenda has been put in place in France against Islam since 2005. There was later a double aggravation. Charlie Hebdo, then especially terrorist attacks on Bataclan, with a new element of addition, the migrant crisis of George Soros. First, Charlie Hebdo, this has been a real multi-step anti-Muslim strategy since 2006. The obscene cartoons against our Prophet Muhammad aims to radicalize Europe. The goal is the clash of civilizations ideology, putting Christians against Islam. This operation was recycled in 2012 during the Benghazi affair in Libya. And in general, finally, in 2015, the attacks on Charlie Hebdo greatly contributed to the general hysterization against Muslims. And the same goes for the Bataclan attacks at the end of 2015. This was the start of emergency laws against Muslims in France. The Soros migrant crisis dangerously accelerated this war on Islam, confusing migrants with Islam. The will is to provoke and radicalize Europe, to create two parallel radicalizations. This is called a special war by French experts. France and Germany are the top two targets, along with Austria, Sweden, Denmark, and Switzerland. This current situation is not in our best interest. You know who wants this, we'll talk about in the private.
Je serai donc candidat à l'élection présidentielle française d'avril 2022. Le peuple français et les milieux d'influence.
In this context, Muslim officials in France did not understand the threat at all. A trap is being set from an effective scenario against Muslims.
Les Français ne sont pas racistes.
Targeting Muslims is his only. Today, situation blocked in France. Macron is the leader in promoting obscenity and decadence. He was co-opted for it, and he will go all the way to destroy France. Targeting Muslims is his only chance for re-election. An artificial narrative is being set up with such a pair game. Macron against Marine Le Pen and her former nationalist party, but today it is only a controlled opposition. They both claim to represent the French together, although they both did not even achieve only 6% of the national vote. And we have the situation, a patriotic and Muslim presidency to restore, we have a solution, a patriotic and Muslim presidency to restore France. The French are aware of Macron's political manipulation in France, but can do nothing for the moment. And this is indeed, beyond these elections, there is a real danger for Muslims, a special war that serves the clash of civilizations ideology. And here is an example. The French are aware of Macron's political manipulation in France, but can do nothing for the moment. The influential circles and characters would be ready to accept a Muslim president who could stop the geopolitical hijacking of France and defeat the special war underway in France. But that supposes not to leave the ground to dangerous Muslim personalities. And we see a great opportunity for this. The ideological and geopolitical reasons, the main targets of Macron and his financial backers are President Putin. France saboteurs now organize a major judicial operation of destabilization underway against the Emir of Qatar and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia in order to weaken them on the international scene and to seize their property in order to finance their opponents based in France. And this, it is very important to talk about the Bataclan. And we should remember the unprecedented statement of Foreign Minister Shah Mahmoud Qureshi to his Chinese counterpart that Pakistan will no longer allow its territory to be used to promote terrorism. Concerning the rest of Muslim world, up to Indonesia, regarding the importance of the role of Islamic finance in the eschatological struggle against usury, France must join the Alliance for Alternative Finance, which already ideologically unites Islamic finance and the Orthodox Church. I already have a team to build over the past 3 years with experienced former members for the presidential candidate since 2007, seasoned senior officials aware of the reasons of the French against people from influential circles, big business, anti-terrorism, heralded by the abnormalities of the fight against terrorism in France. The general atmosphere is fed up with political manipulations with the failure to respect the words given which destroy France's credibility. We also have a special weapon with Bataclan affair. These attacks were preventable
والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وإمام المتقين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. الإخوة الكرام، السادة الفضلاء، أحييكم بتحية الإسلام. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. كما أغتنم هذه الفرصة لأهنئكم بحلول هذا الشهر المبارك، شهر رمضان، شهر القرآن والقيام والصيام والغفران. تقبل الله منا صالح الأعمال ومنكم، آمين. كما أغتنم الفرصة لأنوه بالشكر إلى مجلس إدارة المنتدى الإسلامي الأوروبي وجميع أعضائها الذين أعطوني الفرصة لأخذ الكلمة هنا بين ظهرانيكم، فأنا لكم من الشاكرين. فهذا فخر ومسرة، بارك الله فيكم. هذه المناسبة الطيبة سنغتنمها للحديث عن محدثات الأمور هنا بالديار الفرنسية، وذاك فيما يخص تحديدا أمور المسلمين، حيث أنه من لم يهتم بأمورهم فليس منهم، كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. كما تعلمون، وذاك منذ أكثر من سنة ونصف، والمسلمون هنا في فرنسا يعيشون مضايقات متزايدة.
1.5 years, the Muslims in France, and since recently, the French government closed a big number of mosques and schools for Muslims. The last mosque that was open was in Strasbourg. And this
وهذا وذاك أعني به إغلاق المسجد في مدينة ستراسبورغ والمدرسة.
And finally, the close of the mosque in Strasbourg. And this happens because and now we understand that the French government and this is very important, and this also caused by the this is very important from the point of view of the Turkish community. And we have to take into account the political force, but the closure of madrasah and mosques is showing us that this is practically a green light for those who wants to kill two birds with one stone. But this is important to say that the French government will continue to conduct this policy until they have the new presidential elections, until there is a new president. And I believe whom I'm talking about. And we think that we have to use all possibilities to provide the economic, social, and financial and ideological pressure on the government to limit the oppression against the Muslim community. And because the Muslim community is blamed with almost all the things. And our task and our responsibility as the Muslims, as the French government citizens, is to act to change the balance of powers. And we had to follow this policy in a joint manner. And I believe that we have to confirm that we need the new project in order to fulfill our objectives. We, the Muslims, we have to revive our authority and our power. We have to be treated with respect. We need new human potential and new political potential. And we have to use this potential. First of all, we have to do this using our sacred Quran and Almighty Allah. And peace to all of you, and be blessed the Allah Almighty. Thank you very much, dear doctor. Indeed, the situation in France is quite uneasy. We have the xenophobic attitudes on the governmental level. And this is in France and in Switzerland and in Belgium. But we would like to point out that this dedicated work to oppress the Muslim population. And fortunately enough, there is no other country with this approach in other countries, and we cannot be quiet, and we cannot be calm if we look at the activity of the French government and President Macron. We believe that this is a crime against the Muslim population of France. And now we pass to the fourth part of our agenda. This is the peace in the Middle East. Recently, we saw several positive issues that give us hope that the peace in the Middle East is possible. I am talking about the establishment of friendly relations between Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and the beginning of dialogue between the Turkish Republic and the Republic of Egypt, and the peaceful statements from Arab Islamic Republic of Iran and the situation in Libya all gives us hope that the peace in the Middle East is possible. And of course, one of the missions of our Muslim Forum should be the peaceful efforts in order to unite the brothers, the Muslim brothers in all the countries of the Middle East. And we need this, and we believe that all people of the goodwill will can sigh peacefully when there is peace in the Middle East. And of course, there is another problem that still do not does not have the solution, but this is the approach of and the attitude of the great powers, including the United States. We will talk about this later, and now I would like to give the floor to the leader of the Youth Council, Itaha Lian, and he is a well-known politician, and he has his objective as the activities of the European Muslim Forum. And by the way, we would like to express our appreciation that our Turkish studios is in the Youth Forum of Islamic Cooperation, and our Moscow studios is in Moscow. And now we give the floor to Ayant Taha. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, dear brother Abdulwahid Bey. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. First of all, it's a great honor for me to be among you in this August House and witnessing the General Assembly of the European Muslim Forum. Unfortunately, we are organizing it online. I wish to have a chance to organize it in person, but due to the COVID pandemic, it's a compulsory thing. But also there is a new baraka in this virtual reality that we have discovered nowadays. As we witness now, we can convene at the same time while we are enjoying our seats in our homelands or in our works. Dear Excellencies, distinguished guests, and dear friends, it's such an honor for me to be among these esteemed and honorable guests. I would like to offer you all my best wishes and hopes you for your continued health and happiness, and let me extend to your excellencies my heartfelt congratulations on the blessed occasion of Holy Ramadan. We were really waiting for meeting with the Ramadan again, and Alhamdulillah, now we have a chance and we have met with the Ramadan again. This is a great blessing and ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all of us and for the whole universe. So I wish that we will have a chance to enjoy the blessings of the Ramadan and ni'mahs of the Ramadan fully. And informed glance at youth in OIC member states reflects an excess of cultural, economic, and socio-political challenges that are generally interrelated and observed throughout the key fields, as you know. And also we see those challenges and those relations a chance for regional integration, and also we see those challenges and relations as a chance for organizing a peace building mission for international relations. So I want to express my thanks again to our brother Abdulwahid Niazov Bey for underlining the importance of peace building as a function of European Muslim Forum. And I wish with the help and leadership of this August House, we will have a chance to serve the cause of building the peace among our communities, among our nations, among our countries, but first of all, among our societies. And also these challenges have been further experienced for young people in OIC member states and beyond, which are often afflicted by persisting conflict and war, undermining the well-being of youth to a greater extent with far-reaching implications. Because I can 100% assure you that the most vulnerable part of all societies in the world who are affecting from or any kind of conflict or war or friction in the society is young people, because they are at the beginning of their lives. So their lives are very fragile from several aspects. And even though they need support from their society, their nation, their existence, by the conflict or war, their life became more and more harder. So as the youth of this ummah, I want to make a call to all part of the world that we need all kind of support for betterment of our young people. Through our solidarity and united action, our commitments will be amplified, I guess, as reflections of the political will of those tirelessly striving to improve the condition of youth throughout the Muslim world. And in this regard, I see that European Muslim Forum is an important platform and also functional platform. So with the help of the European Muslim Forum, we can serve the betterment of our youth in all the OIC member states and plus non-member states as well. With the strong support of the Muslim brothers like you, we will focus on the empowerment of youth by tackling issues of unemployment and furthering innovation and entrepreneurship, while ensuring that the struggle against Islamophobia, radicalization, extremism, and disenfranchisement remain as key items of our agenda. So as ICYF, Islamic Cooperation Forum, we are trying to answer all of these challenges, and we are trying to tackle those problems with our very limited resources, but a huge mandate. While I'm concluding my words once more, I would like to reiterate my best wishes to this valuable gathering, while sharing with you my firm belief that through our united efforts on this shared path, the achievements will be celebrated ahead will make this a year to remember. Thank you very much for your patience and attention. Ramadan Kareem to you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ma'as salama. Fi amanillah.
Thank you, our dear brother Taho, for your kind hospitality, for your kind custom and your participation. We are very pleased that our team includes such young but nonetheless experienced players, international level functionaries. This certainly strengthens the team of EMF. Thank you. Now, a lot has been said today about the pandemic. It has introduced changes into the activity of our Congress today. It is running online today. And at this moment, we understand that all the events, that the appearance by the Pakistani leader due to the pandemic has been moved, and we are going to see it in a video format. Also, the Palestinian leader has called his chief judge, and he will join us a bit later. Unfortunately, the pandemic has also claimed one of our speakers, Sheikh Al-Bashir, the VP of influential community of Islamic scientists. He is ill and he won't be able to take part in our assembly today. However, we are moving on. And now, taking the opportunity, I would like to express sincere condolences to one of our members of the board, Sheikh Omar Al-Qadri, the Mufti of Ireland, relating to the fact that yesterday, on the first day of Ramadan, his father passed away. May Allah be happy and praise him, and we hope that this shift, this impact from the pandemic in the first day of Ramadan, we hope that the Almighty will bless greatly the dear father of our brother, and in his face we also would like to pass our blessings and greetings to all our Irish brothers, and our hearts and is with our brother. Now please allow me to give the floor to our member from Kuwait. You all know that Kuwait today, headed by the new, highly energetic Emir, has taken active steps and has brought to peace two countries, Qatar and Saudi Arabia, played a great role in improving bilateral relations between these two important Arab Muslim states, belongs with Kuwait. And now we'd like to give the floor to Bright Representative of Kuwait, Badr Sulmaninto, the General Director of International Islamic Charity Organization. Badr, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سعادة السيد عبد الواحد نيازوف رئيس المنتدى الإسلامي الأوروبي، السادة أعضاء الجمعية العامة ومجلس إدارة المنتدى الإسلامي الأوروبي الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يسعدني في مستهل كلمتي أن أحييكم جميعا وأن أتوجه بالشكر والامتنان إلى السيد رئيس المنتدى لدعوته الكريمة لنا للمشاركة في أعمال الدورة الحالية للجمعية العامة للمنتدى الإسلامي الأوروبي. تلك الدورة التي تمثل إلى جانب غيرها من فعاليات المنتدى منصات مهمة لطرح القضايا الإسلامية التي تهم الأمة والتأكيد على قيم الحوار والتلاقي سبيلا للتعايش وتأسيسا للعلاقة الإيجابية المتبادلة بين مختلف أتباع الأديان والحضارات. وإنه لمن دواعي سروري أن أتحدث إلى هذه النخبة الرفيعة من القادة المسلمين والشخصيات الدينية والسياسية البارزة. أتحدث من دولة الكويت حاضرة العمل الإنساني، حاملا لكم
of Islamic world from Kuwait. Kuwait actually, it is true, carries a noble humanitarian mission.
ودعواته الدكتور عبد الله معتوق المعتوق ودعواته لهذا الملتقى بالتوفيق والسداد وبلوغ أهدافه السامية.
Regards from Dr. Abdul, and he asked me to pass.
واسمحوا لي أن أغتنم هذه الفرصة لأتوجه إليكم بخالص التهاني والتبريكات بمناسبة حلول شهر رمضان المبارك، سائلا الله عز وجل أن يعيد على البشرية جمعاء بالخير واليمن والبركات. فمن حسن توفيق الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يتزامن هذا الشهر الفضيل بمقاصده العظيمة مع هذا الملتقى بغاياته النبيلة، وبذلك يتجلى شرف الزمان بقدسيته الجليلة الذي نستلهم منه قيم الرحمة والتيسير والتسامح والتكافل.
In our religion, this is where we draw energy
مع شرف اللقاء الذي نتطلع خلاله إلى العمل لتعزيز قيم السلام والتفاهم المتبادل والتعايش السلمي.
We are aiming in our activity to strengthen.
الحضور الكريم، لا يخفى علينا جميعا ما يواجه العالم من تحديات غير مسبوقة جراء تداعيات جائحة كوفيد-19.
We are all aware of unprecedented challenges that the Muslims worldwide are facing today.
شكلت العالم امتحانا حقيقيا لاختبار مدى قدرته على تجاوز دائرة الخلافات السياسية والنزاعات العنصرية وخطاب الكراهية إلى دائرة العمل على إعلاء قيم التعايش والترابط والتلاحم في مواجهة هذا المصير المشترك والاهتمام بالإنسان بغض النظر عن دينه ولغته وعرقه وحماية حقه في الحياة والعيش في بيئة سليمة وآمنة وخلق بيئة مستقرة يتجلى فيها التعاون
live in peace, human rights, stable, safe, secure world. And this is the key premise so that we could realize these high values that Islam brings.
وانطلاقا من هذا المفهوم فإننا نثني على الجهود الكبيرة التي اطلع بها المنتدى الإسلامي الأوروبي طوال مسيرته في العمل
We would also like to highly acclaim and praise the fight of Muslim leaders and Muslim communities to protect the rights of the minorities against discrimination, persecution. And in particular, in Europe. We're going to continue to pursue and protect human rights.
الحضور الكريم أن المسلمين في الغرب أصبحوا رقما صعبا لا يمكن تجاهله كما أن الأقليات الدينية والعرقية في بلاد
The Islamophobia and ideas of hate towards Islam, discrimination against Muslim minorities in a number of countries. Our role in this
بين أصحاب الأديان والمذاهب والتركيز على القيم المشتركة وردم الهوى الناتجة عن الأحكام المسبقة والتأكيد على مبدأ.
We have to stress the value of our shared values with representatives of other religions to strengthen the coexistence, the cooperation, so that we move to the back burner our differences and focus on what unites us. As Allah Almighty said in His book, Holy Book, we have to develop a roadmap, a plan, which would allow to strengthen the position, improve the position of Muslim community to successfully withstand the attempts to persecute Muslims. Us, as representatives of International Islamic Charity Organization, fully share with the General Assembly that concern that today you're expressing about the state, the situation and affairs Muslim communities in many European countries. We also stand against radicalization of Islam. We stand for moderate Islam based on mutual respect and coexistence. We are confident that there are some common premises that unite us. First of all, strive for peace, mutual respect, respect for dignity, mutual dignity, and we stand against formula which was expressed a while ago called East is East and West is West. No, we are all human and we have a lot to share. And all of us, all of these regions, East and West, the words of Kipling, as where history happens. And if we are going to continue silently looking on at the persecution of Muslims worldwide, if we do not respond to the conflicts existing, this will only lead to negative consequences. And Prophet Muhammad had once, may his name be blessed, has once said, we remember his holy words when he said, I was sent to strengthen the high moral ground, relations between people. And I'd like to call and speak to all the representatives from all different countries, from different nations, different religions. And these words, over 14 centuries old today, he said them 14 centuries ago. There should be no domination, no advantage between black and white, no advantage of one peoples over the other. All peoples are equal, but the most loved by Allah is the most God-fearing, is the most diligent, and this is in the ayats of Holy Quran. That's what it says, and Islam has always fought ignorance. And this is witnessed by many of the surahs of the Holy Quran. Dear representatives, dear members, We represent different confessions, different cultures, different worlds. However, we have to accept, we have to respect each other, and we have to act so as to stop these accusations leveled in the media, in the mass media against Muslims. We have to work on developing our knowledge, our awareness of each other. We have to strive for bringing the civilizations closer despite the challenges we are facing. We must improve the conditions of women, protect the principles of Islam. And in conclusion, I would like to wish the General Assembly of EMF so that the ideas and thoughts we pay lip service to see effect, see real life, see real manifestation. And thank you very much on this blessed day, the dawning of the holy blessed month of Ramadan. Thank you so much. May everyone be blessed. Thank you so much. Please give our best regards to all our brothers and sisters in Kuwait. And now we are moving on to the agenda, fifth point of the agenda. This is multi-religious dialogue. You're aware of the fact that the European Muslim Forum in Copenhagen in 2019 has adopted a special manifesto where it supported the efforts of the world leaders to support religious dialogue between Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Pope Francis I's encyclical, as you know, it has been translated into Russian by Muslims and by the Religious Board of Muslims Russian Federation. And today, the board sees as one of its key goals is developing interreligious dialogue so that the European continent becomes a united base platform for the new stage in developing multi-religious dialogue. And the basis for this dialogue should be preservation of traditional family values. As far back as long ago in 1994, Pope John Paul II said, us, and I mean us Christians, with a hope look upon the Muslim Ummah, hoping jointly to preserve the values, family values. Today, these family values are no less important than ever. Now I would like to give the floor to the person who is at the forefront of interreligious dialogue, being a chairman of the board, being a member of the board, EMF, heading an Islamic center today from the spiritual capital of Europe. He represents not only interests of EMF, but all of our Ummah. Floor to Dr. Nader Akhad. Dear doctor, you have the floor. Dr. Nader Akhad. May peace and mercy, blessings of Allah the Almighty be upon all of you. First of all, I'd like to thank Allah and His Prophet Muhammad. May his name be blessed. I thank Allah the Almighty for opportunity to gather here. I'd also like to thank Mr. Niyazov, the President of EMF, all the members of General Assembly that are taking part in this session today. And first of all, I would like to remind everyone that we are very early in the beginning of the holy month of Ramadan, and we received a message that Vatican has approached Muslims of Italy and worldwide, addressed Muslims internationally at the beginning of Ramadan. The congratulations expressed came not only from Vatican. We received warm wishes, congratulations from the leaders of Judaical Church, from some rabbis that congratulate Muslims with the dawn of holy months of Ramadan. This month of Ramadan is a month of fasting, month of Quran, month of and it's a very important time. So based on this, we have to improve this multi-ethnic dialogue, multi-religious dialogue between Muslims and Christians. And we'd like to thank everyone who worked on improving and developing the charter, the draft documents that have been mailed to all the participants. I have read it carefully, and I'd like to thank everyone, the team working on preparing this documentation, and I mean first of all, the charter, the registration, the constitution of the organization. And of course, this reflects on many important issues. First of all, cooperation between Muslims and other confessions. And I would like to once again ask everyone to go into more detail, to learn the contents of this document, because it discusses very important issues.
This is indeed the main activity of our forum, and it is aimed at reinforcement of our relations with brother Muslims in other countries of the European Union. And this cooperation should cover different areas: culture, science, environment, protection, etc. And this is a very important document. We all have to study it properly. And we're talking about the establishment of the relations of peace and friendship among the representatives of different religions and denominations. And we're talking about the creation and setting up the new model of cooperation, respect for the rights of all the people of Earth. And it is very important that these issues are touched upon in the new draft status. All of us, we know that our religion and other religions are closely related between each other. And we know that all Abrahamic religions are very close between each other. And now we are talking about the situation that all the prophets sent by the God to earth, and the last prophet Muhammad that was sent to the earth with a very important mission. We know that all prophets have been fulfilling their missions, and this sacred Quran indeed speaks about it. And the missions of all prophets, and we gave Isaac, Jacob, and other prophets, and among their successors are Zachariah and other saint people, all those people who were conducting good deeds. And all these mentioned names allow us to understand the close relation between all these religions. And that is why it is very important that we remember this, we do not forget it, and we try to, using the dialogue, that we will try to understand the brotherhood and the values, our common values. We have to try to make our dialogue more constructive. And we know that there are those who try to propagate the ideas on confrontation of civilizations instead of cooperation. The Samuel Huntington theory is well known to all, and we have talked a lot about it. And now we're talking about the alliance of and the union of civilizations instead of their confrontations. We're talking about the necessity of dialogue between the civilizations, and all these are our important principles. We're talking about the new principles and new core values for the dialogue. And this dialogue have to carry all the issues that we face. For the moment, when we carry out this dialogue between the Muslims, the Christians, Judaïsts, and others, we have to take into account the necessity to unite our efforts against wars and aggression. And that is why that we pay a lot of attention to all these issues. We have prepared the document of the 4th of February of 2019. This was in Abu Dhabi, and this document deals with the principles of this cooperation. When we had the historical meeting of Pope Francis with the Muslims, this is when the idea of the reinforcement of this cooperation got ground, and the idea of expansion of this cooperation as much as possible, because all the representatives of all the religions should live in the situation of brotherhood and peace. We understand very well that many Muslims, and first of all those who live in the European communities, they face many challenges, and like Islamophobia and other challenges, and we have to do all possible steps to prevent these attitudes and to do everything possible that dialogue becomes the foundation of our relations. We have to do everything possible that the Muslims are respected in the European countries. And that is why we show the openness and our readiness for the dialogue with other denominations and religions. And this is the source of our power in the future. And naturally, Muslims are the integral part of the community, of the society where they live. Another important issue is the our formation of a part of this society, and this is a very important culture aspect, and we pay a lot of attention to our values. And in conclusion, I would like to recall a very important point. Our European Muslim Forum is important, and we have to express and reflect in our documents the importance of inter-confession, inter-religion cooperation. And this was mentioned by our president, Mr. Niyazov, and the encyclic of Pope Francisco was translated into different languages. This was talked about in Vatican and in many other countries. It means that Muslims with their brothers in other denominations and confessions act from the positions of friendship and peaceful cooperation. And these are very important principles. We have to follow them and to observe them and to put them into daily practice. We have to stand against Islamophobia. We have to stand against the forces that try to develop the hatred towards the Muslims and other religions. And this is why we put a lot of accent on the necessity of the strong alliance and the development of interdenomination dialogue. And we as Muslims are ready to make our input into this very noble activity. We have to do everything possible to develop our dialogue. And in conclusion, I would like to give thanks to all the participants of our forum for an outstanding organization. This is a very important event that will allow to expand our views and our positions to different other countries of Europe, both in Western Europe and Eastern Europe. And this will allow us to establish stronger relations with other Muslim communities in other continents, so that our alliance becomes stronger and wider. So we have to fight against Islamophobia for all, and be blessed by our Allah Almighty. Thank you for your attention. This was Rome and was our Dr. Akkad, and we are waiting now for the visit of end of this year, for the visit of the big delegation from Vatican. And now we pass to the sixth part of our agenda. This is the inclusion of the new members. You know that we are now trying to expand the membership of our governing bodies. We now have the General Assembly, and the next meeting that will be in the form of the expanded council form. This will take place in 2 countries, in Vilnius and Minsk, at the beginning of June this year. But for the moment, we have to give the floor to all those who will be included into our governing bodies. We have carried out big work with the Muslims of Serbia, and at the moment we would like to give the floor to our Russian and Kazakh businessman. He is a philanthropist and co-owner of big companies, Musa Kostenko. Dear brothers and sisters, I appreciate very much to be among you, although virtually, and thank you very much for this opportunity. I think this is very important and correct that you carry out this work, and I enjoy very much to be the part of your work, of your team, and I will do my best efforts to move forward to improve the relations between the denominations, the popularization of Islam, and to transfer to all our co-citizens the word of our Allah Almighty. Thank you very much. Musa, we are very glad to see you among our team. Russia and Kazakhstan are the eastern parts, the eastern borders of our European territory. We have prepared the statistics, and this statistics has been given to the group, and the statistics show that the European Council, and these statistics show that we have 170 million of our brothers Muslims, and you can see this in our group, and this is very important statistics. And now we want to give the floor to Enver Gicic from Sandžak, Serbia, and we have held the talks with the Mufti of Sandžak, and we agreed that we are going to include the Vice Speaker of the Serbian Parliament, Mr. Edukovic, and we also give our greetings to our Sandžak brothers. On the eve of this sacred month of Ramadan, they opened Gazilar, the new religious complex in Sandžak. Doctor, the floor is yours. Dr. Enver Gicic, the floor is yours. We don't hear you. Doctor? Hello? It seems we don't have the sound. Well, brothers, it seems that we have some technical issues with the communication with our brothers in Sandžak. Dr. Gicic, do you hear us? Dr. Gicic? It seems that he doesn't hear us, and we have some communications issues. Indeed, I want to point out that we have held the negotiations with Dr. Gicic and with Vice Speaker of Parliament of Serbia, Muamer Zukovic. We agreed on the serious cooperation, and already in Vilnius and in Minsk, the delegation of our Serbian brothers will be present. And now we go over the Atlantics, we go to the United States, and the floor to give the greetings on behalf of the Muslims of the America. The floor is given to Ministry of Spiritual, the President of the Ministry of Spirituality Center for Humanity in Detroit, state of Michigan, our brother Imam Arif Haskik. Mr. Arif Haskik, the floor is yours. This is Michigan, Detroit.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Your Excellency, President of Muslim European Forum, Sheikh Abdulwahid Niazov, Your Eminency, all your brothers and sisters in this forum today, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, this is a great pleasure and honor of mine to participate in this forum. I'm so grateful to Sheikh Brother Abdulwahid Niazov and Brother Murad, Dr. Murad, for inviting me to participate at this meeting. Thank you all for giving support to yourself with the first man of this forum, Sheikh Abdulwahid Niazov and his entire team. I'm bringing you greetings and Ramadan Mubarak on behalf of both our governing teams at Ministry and Spirituality Center for Humanity and Commonwealth Alliance Clergy Interfaith Organization. As we heard today from you, honorable presenters, very wonderful concerns for Muslims, not only in Europe, but in world around. As brother mentioned, violence on Muslims in China, and there is violences in other countries as well. We Muslims are peaceful and great people, great nation, and I am honored to be Muslim among other Muslims in the United States. I'm originally from country of Bosnia and Herzegovina. I've been in America for 24 years, alhamdulillah, proud citizen of the United States. Media always doing their job to bring attention to those who pay them to make money, right? That's a business. So we should speak up for ourselves through Quranic and Sunnah perspective of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This is best guidance for all of us, including non-Muslims. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not give Quran as guidance for Muslim only, but for entire humanity, for all his creatures, as he mentioned in many Quranic ayats as well. And Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is not sent, chosen by God as a messenger and prophet to the Muslims, but through the world. And this is beautiful guidance, Quran and Sunnah, that educate ourselves, and through this guidance we educate people about us, who we really are. For example, now in this blessed month of Ramadan, this is opportunity for all of us to stretch hand to our brothers and sisters in the world around, but first of all, stretch your hand to your next door neighbors. Even if they're not Muslims, they are children of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just like us, children of Adam and Hawa. So there is not only children of Ibrahim alayhi salam, but we are children of Adam alayhi salam and Hawa radiallahu anhum. Brothers and sisters, I live in one of beautiful city which is only 2 miles in square, Hamtramck, which is nearby Detroit, Michigan, state of Michigan. This city is known as worldwide greatest diversified city. And that is really, being here for 24 years, I don't have any differences between this city and people, my neighbors in this city, as I have same feelings of my neighbors where I was born in my city and country of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Why? Brothers and sisters, we have about 24,000 people in 2 miles in square. There is many grocery stores and restaurants like everywhere, but there is no store known yet in Hamtramck or a restaurant that we cannot buy halal food, whether they are owned by Muslim or non-Muslim. And it's very interesting, last week at 6 o'clock a.m. in the morning, 6 o'clock, I'm listening to Azan and church bells in the same time. This is a wonderful call for all of us for unity and promoting better peace everywhere in the world. We have no any problems with the community from non-Muslim neighbors because of their bells, they have no problem with call to prayer. 5 times daily ritual salah, 5 times azan is made, broadcasting from our about 20 messages here in this neighborhood. And I am proud to be in this city. So that is not happen overnight. That did not exist like this before. Our neighbors didn't know about us Muslims. They heard about immigrants, and they really did not know about Muslims and Islam. They did not know about our practice. Since we start Commonwealth Alliance Clergy Interfaith Organization, every year we have a iftar in different messages in our Metro Detroit area, where is attended with more than 30 non-Muslim community leaders and dignitaries, state, city, and county legislators, and congresspeople as well. Those non-Muslims are pastors, rabbis, from various faith perspectives, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, Sikhs, Hindus, and all others. I'm a founder and president of Commonwealth Alliance Clergy Interfaith Organization, which comprises with over 50 places of worship. We are in agreement that we are children of one God and that we pray to one God. Also, I'm a founder and president of Ministry and Spirituality Sense for Humanity, where we have every Friday at 3 p.m. healing prayer for humanity with multi-religious and spiritual leaders from the world around. I'm thankful to His Excellency, our brother Sheikh Abdul Wahid Niazov, for following us, and we are close. Not just the friends on Facebook, I feel him as my biological brother. And if you look that he is from country of Russia, and I am from Bosnia and Herzegovina, there is nothing to do between two countries, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made our hearts that we feeling each other, that he's from Russia and I'm from Bosnia and feeling like brothers. And those people in China, Pakistan, Asian countries, everywhere else, in Europe as well, we are just brothers and sisters in humanity, regardless Muslims or non-Muslims, because our beautiful example is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that his friends been non-Muslims, that he as a model of humanity made so many human and civil laws for entire world, not for Muslims only. I have many non-Muslim friends who observing Ramadan with me from beginning to the end for several years in past. I cannot say they are not Muslims because of these observances, and they did not declare themselves they are Muslims. They are who they are, but according to our friendship and according of guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they trying to be hungry as I am on those days. I will invite everyone to witness this healing prayer for humanity on every Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern time, to see the feelings. You can feel yourself, you are in mosque, in greatest mosque somewhere. You can feel you are in greatest church somewhere. You feel you are among your family. That's how all people pray and all people give respect to each other, particularly to the Muslims, every one of them. We have representatives in all continents and most of countries in the world. So I invite you to contact our Sheikh, His Excellency Abdul Wahid Niazov, to forward you my information and contact me So welcome to our Zoom and Facebook Live activities. And also among all of you, and paying respect and and my love to all of you, I saw our Honorable Imam Dr. Nadir Akkad from Papa's cabinet. And that is great to know this person, to meet him last year in person in South Korea and share food and coffee with him. So he will be one of our speakers on May 7 at Worldwide Summit of Love 2021 with mutual understanding. We all love God. We all have our understanding, and let's increase mutual understanding among Muslims and non-Muslims. So without any further ado, I'm honored to be here, and thank you, Your Eminency, Sheikh Abdul Khalid Niazo, and thank you all my brothers and sisters for your efforts, what you do. And to close with this, that Commonwealth Alliance and our ministry are supporting interfaith community here in this area and abroad with food, with water, with the gloves and masks. And I urge you all to recommend your all followers, from family and followers, to wear those recommended protection from scientists to stop spreading this COVID. I pray to Almighty Allah to protect all of us everywhere in the world, and may He give guidance to us how to be better people. Amen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Спасибо.
Thank you very much for such a bright and emotional address in a good American way. Thank you very much, our brother Lev Haskic. Now we are enjoying a very good relationship in the making with our American brothers, thanks to our activities of Brother Murad in Miami, and we also enjoy great cooperation with FAIR, with the largest Muslim organization, and now we are also working on building relationships with many large US and Canadian Muslim organizations. And end of May, we are planning to run a roundtable prior to meeting in Lithuania and Belarus on transatlantic cooperation. This roundtable is being prepared by Brother Murad in IAMI and Brother Salman from Norway. And also at the end of May, following Ramadan, we are going to hold a roundtable on Islam in the Baltic countries. Now we have exhausted our agenda today, brothers and sisters. We have 3 of our brothers, members of the board, with us today that will here in Lithuania or Belarus. I'm speaking of brother from Hamburg, Lichtmet Ahmud, the president of German Salam Party, also the General Secretary of Islamic Authentic Council from Copenhagen, Stamovimi, and leader of Iceland Muslims, Askar Krimi from Reykjavik. All of 3 dear brothers will be given opportunity to speak, will be given the floor at our next session in Vilnius live and in Minsk. And now, to sum up the results of our work today, I'd like to give the floor to our elder brother, the member of the board, the founder of EMF in the UK, Islamic Council in the UK, and the member of the board, Sir Iqbal Sakrani. Following him, we are going to hear from the head of Muslims, French Muslims in Nice, Brother Sasawi, who is going to read the dua to conclude our event today, our General Assembly. So, dear Sir Iqbal Sakrani, you have the floor, sir.
Shukran, Brother Abdul Wahid, for giving me the opportunity to conclude the session. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we have, Alhamdulillah, today completed the first session, the General Assembly that has taken place in terms of understanding the role of the EMF, and also having the opportunity to hear from our very distinguished patrons of the EMF, His Excellency Dr. Anwar Ibrahim and Mufti Sheikh Gainuddin from Russia. May I take the opportunity to thank our patrons for their wonderful message, eloquently expressed and highlighting the important issues which we as European Muslims need to cover during our course of being members of the EMF. May I also take the opportunity to thank all our distinguished speakers that spoke today and everyone who attended this very important session. We have covered today in very brief summary, the constitutional document, the statute document, which is in a draft form, which the board will now have the opportunity to look into it in more detail and make the necessary changes so that it appeals to us as European Muslims in a democratic society where everyone is able to take part in that organization. So inshallah wa ta'ala, the board will be deliberating in a proper manner, and we hope that in due course we will be presenting the final document to yourself for the adoption. We also touched on the role of the interfaith communities, and very rightly expressed by our distinguished speakers in terms of historical connections with our deen, with our Abrahamic faith, and with other faith communities. And that relationship, inshallah, has to continue in a positive way. This is part of the teaching of Islam to convey our message to the wider community. And unless we are able to understand the other side of the communities, we will not be able to play that important role. We also touched the importance of the concerns of the Ummah in different parts of the world, from the Uyghur community in China, who are going through a very depressing and an unacceptable situation in today's world. And we hope the pressure by our members, the communities, through international fora, we will bring an end to this great tragedy that is prevailing in the midst of the world community. We, of course, have a fullest sympathy and our solidarity with our brothers in Palestine who continue to suffer from the atrocities of oppression. Of course, the situation in Kashmir, very similar situation where the world sadly is silent on this present unacceptable situation. And we hope through our deliberation, through our pressures coming in a positive way with a dialogue with international leadership, we will be able to put the pressure that they need to address those particular issues. May I also welcome our new members that have joined us, the Council today from the United States and other parts of Europe. We welcome you and inshallah look forward to your active participation in terms of the issues that concerns us both in Europe and across the continent as well. And I hope that that collaboration, that coordination will bring a very positive role to our communities. And I think this brings an end in terms of the time that is taken. Our sincere apologies that we are running late. We hope in future conferences and seminars that our speakers will give attention to the time that is allocated to them. Otherwise, sadly, it will be delayed for so long that people will be losing interest, and of course, that we do not want to. Jazakumullah khairan once again on behalf of the European Muslim Forum, and I thank our President, Brother Abdul Wahid Niyazov, for all the efforts, and the Executive Committee, Brother Shamil, and all other brothers who have helped to organize this very important first meeting of the General Assembly. Jazakumullah khairan, shukran to all of you. We pray as in the second day of Ramadan that may Allah Ta'ala strengthen our solidarity, our love, our affection for each other so that we can become good citizens in this world and then inshallah ta'ala Islam can progress in the way it should do and bring an end to the atrocities and the disturbances that we see in different parts of the world. Shukran jazakumullah khairan. I think now we request our Sheikh to do the dua so we can conclude this session. We have Sheikh Uthman Aisoui to please perform the dua.
بارك الله فيكم وشكر الله لكم هذا المنتدى. جزاكم الله كل خير على هذه الجهود. سيادة الرئيس عبد الواحد والطائقين معه والمكتب والمجلس، السادة المسؤولين، بوركتم جميعا وشكر الله سعيكم. اللهم يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين.
There is no Allah but other God by Allah, and the Almighty Allah allowed us to meet us and the beginning of the month of Ramadan, and we appreciate very much the Almighty Allah for His will, and we will try to live through the ordeals that have been given to us. Allah is with those who are ill now, who are suffering, and Allah looks at us, and Allah is Almighty and the most blessful.
اللهم انصرنا على من عادانا يا أرحم الراحمين ارحمنا يا غفار اغفر لنا ويا تواب تب علينا ويا عالم علمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما بما ننتفع به. اللهم قربنا إليك عمن سواك وأغننا بك عمن سواك وألف بين قلوبنا واصلح سريرتنا واجعلنا من يتلون كلامك آناء الليل وأطراف النهار ونور قلوبنا بقرآنك ونور ديارنا بقرآنك ونور ليلنا بقرآنك. اللهم لا تخرجنا من رمضان إلا وقد غفرت لنا وقد رحمتنا وقد عتقت رقابنا. اللهم انصر المسلمين المستضعفين حيثما كانوا في هذه الأرض يا أرحم الراحمين، في الصين أو في سوريا أو في العراق أو في بلاد القوقاز أو حيثما كانوا يا رب العالمين، فكن معهم وكن سندهم وكن ظهرهم وانصرنا يا رب العالمين بالخير، واجعلنا ممن يدفعون بالسيئة الحسنة، واجعلنا ممن يدفعون بالحسنة السيئة، واجعلنا ممن يدعون بك.
Wherever are the Muslims, they hope for the blessing of the Almighty Allah and for His blessing that He will be sent to us. This is Allah who will approve our steps and our thoughts, and Allah leads us along the way even from above. And the Prophet Muhammad, blessed be his name, and Allah are bring us to do what we have to do, and honor to you, and thank you very much, and I congratulate you with the beginning of the sacred month of Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Kareem. Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Kareem. Allahu Akbar.